Associate's versus a bachelor's degree. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling a super common question for anyone thinking about getting into radiology, and that is, should I get an associate's degree or should I get a bachelor's to become an x-ray tech? And this is just one of those topics that can create a lot of confusion. So let's talk about the differences of each, which path it makes the most sense for you to take, as well as what I would do if I had to start over again today. So with that said, let's get into it. All right, so first let's talk about the basics. Both degrees can land you the exact same job title, which is a registered radiologic technologist. Once you pass your ART boards, you are licensed to work, whether you have a 2-year degree or a 4-year. But there are some key differences that might impact how quickly you start working, how much you actually spend for school, as well as what your long-term options look like. An associate's degree in radiologic technology usually takes about 2 years in length and is offered through community colleges, technical schools, private institutions, as well as hospital-based programs. And you can actually find accredited radiology programs in your area by searching the ART website or the JCERT website. And personally, I like looking at the JCERT website because it gives you quick statistics such as tuition cost, the length of the program, how many seats there are, as well as direct links for you to check out the application requirements to see if you are actually eligible to apply to that program. And just keep in mind, public and community colleges will generally be a lot cheaper than private institutions. But because of that, it usually creates a lot more competition. So again, just keep that in mind. All right, so back to the associate's versus bachelor's. So it is generally more affordable to go to a 2-year associate's program than a 4-year bachelor's program. That's common knowledge, of course. But what's another huge benefit of an associate's program? Well, with an associate's program, you are already out in the workforce after 2 years. Rather than a bachelor's program, you are still in school for those 2 years. And the associate's person already has 2 years of work experience by the time the bachelor's person actually graduates and starts working. So that is a major, major difference and a major benefit of an associate's versus a bachelor's degree. Of course, on top of how much money is saved from the associate's person rather than the bachelor's. And if you're someone like me who wanted to travel right after x-ray school, then you want to get into the workforce as soon as possible, meaning you want to do that 2-year degree and then start working and start building that skill set and meeting that at least 1-year minimum requirement of work experience so you can be eligible to start traveling as an x-ray tech. So again, that's a huge thing. If you are going to go into your bachelor's degree but you want to travel, then that's already 2 years wasted. So get your 2-year associate's degree, start working, get that experience, and then you can start traveling. And also, if you want to focus on other modalities like CT, MRI, IR, cardiac lab, whatever the case, all you need is a 2-year degree to do that. And then you can immediately cross-train into those jobs. I mean, there are many times where students come right out of school and immediately just take a CT job or an MRI job or an IR job. So all you need is a 2-year degree. You don't need a 4-year degree to be able to go into CT or go into MRI, that sort. No, get your 2-year degree and then start working. And then from there, a lot of times you can cross-train. You get paid to train on the job. And then boom, you bumped up into another modality, a higher pay grade, and now you have another credential under your belt. So that is the way to go. Don't go for a 4-year degree thinking that, oh, I have to go a couple of extra years to get CT, MRI, IR, cath lab, whatever. No, you don't. Do your 2-year degree, and then you can cross-train into one of those modalities. Also, sorry if I sound very nasally and congested. I feel very congested. I just got over a sickness. I was sick all last week, and I feel like I'm finally getting over that hump. Still coughing quite a bit and stuff, and I just sound very meh. So that's why I sound like this in this video. I apologize, but I wanted to get this out for you guys. Anyways, let's get back to it. So to quickly summarize this, if you want to get certified, land a job, and not rack up a bunch of student loans or student debt, then go the 2-year associate's degree route. This is the most direct path. All right, so let's talk about a bachelor's degree now. So a bachelor's degree in radiology will of course take 4 years. It's a 4-year degree. And this usually includes courses in management, research, informatics, healthcare law and policy, advanced imaging sciences, etc. So why would someone choose this route? Why would someone go a 4-year degree over a 2-year degree? Well, the bachelor's degree will give you an edge if you are someone that wants to move into leadership, administration, education, clinical applications, pretty much any job title that requires a 4-year bachelor degree. And if you have long-term goals of eventually becoming a director of a hospital or director of like a radiology school program, then that usually requires a master's. So that bachelor's would kind of be your stepping stone to earning your master's next. So with that said, let's move on to the job market comparison now. Just got coffee and a donut delivered because I'm sick. How nice is my fiance? Pretty awesome. All right, where were we? Oh, yeah, so here's a real world truth. Most, if not all, radiologic technology jobs could care less if you have a 2 year or a 4 year degree. All they care about is that you graduated and passed your ART boards and are certified. And in regards to just a general radiologic technologist job, a bachelor's degree is not going to give you an edge over someone with an associate's degree. It's just not. If an associate's degree tech has a couple years of experience and you are a bachelor's degree with no years of experience, I'm sorry, the associate's degree person is going to get taken. That's just how it goes. So it's very different in the healthcare or at least the radiology world compared to outside when a lot of other degrees like business and things like that, like they're probably going to take someone with a bachelor's in business over someone with an associate's in business or whatever the case. But in radiology, no, they could care less if you have a bachelor's. If you are applying for general radiologic technology jobs like xraytech, CT, MRI, IR, that sort of thing. So again, a bachelor's is not going to give you an edge in that sort of job description. Experience trumps degree in that sort. They're always going to take someone with more experience than someone with a higher degree. And throughout all of my travels working in dozens of hospital systems, I have never seen a hospital pay more for someone that holds a bachelor's degree than the person that holds an associate's degree. I've just personally have never seen it. They always pay by experience. So again, if you have an associate's degree and you have 2 years experience and someone is coming on with a bachelor's degree and has 1 year experience, that associate's degree person with the 2 years experience will be making more than that person with a bachelor's degree. Now, on the other hand, I have heard that VA hospitals, like government-based hospitals, offer more money for bachelor degrees techs than associate degree techs. If you have worked in a VA system, let me know. I personally never worked or traveled to a VA hospital system, but I have heard that some places do pay a little bit more. It's usually like pennies on the dollar. It's not like dollars more, but that's the only scenario where I've heard for a radiologic technologist job, a hospital system paying more for a bachelor's than an associate's degree. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you are a tech working in a VA, it would be great to know. It would be great for all of us to learn, but that is just what I've heard through the grapevine. But if you're someone that wants to get more in the administrative leadership type director roles that require a bachelor's or master's degree, then yes, those jobs typically do pay more, and having that bachelor's degree will absolutely give you an edge over someone with just an associate's degree. All right, so with all that said, now I'm going to share my personal take on all of this and what I would do if I had to start over today. So for me personally, I would 100% still go the 2 year associate degree route. Even if I had long-term goals of getting into administration or education that required a bachelor's degree, I would not go strictly into the bachelor's program. I would go into a 2 year program and graduate as quick as I can and get into the workforce. So if you're only interested in becoming a general radiologic technologist or even cross-training into your CT, MRI, those modalities, then absolutely all you need is your 2 year degree. Do not get caught into those 4 year degree programs that tell you blah, 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 whatever the case, that you're going to have a better chance of getting a job. Absolutely not. No. Again, most hospitals, almost every hospital could care less if you have a bachelor's or an associate's. All they care about is that you graduated from a program and you passed your boards. You're certified radiologic technologist. So if that's what you want to do not look at any sort of bachelor program. They're just trying to get your money. Go the 2 year route, get it as quick as possible, and get into the workforce, because that experience is everything. That experience will be able to get you more money, and it will be able to get you cross-training quicker into other modalities that you might want to do. So again, do not go into more debt if you do not need to. Student loans right now are already crazy. The cost of tuition for a lot of these colleges is absolutely insane. Do not go into more debt than you need to. This is the whole goal. We're trying to save money here, trying to get you on the right path. All you need is a 2 year degree. And if you decide later on that you do want to get into administration or become a teacher or something like that that requires a bachelor's degree, then you can move on to the bachelor's program. But again, don't do that right off the bat. Get working. And I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why. One, your goals might change. You might think you want to immediately get into management and make more money than a general x-ray tech. But once you start working on the job and working as an x-ray tech and you kind of see all the duties of management, you might be like, yeah, maybe that's not for me. I kind of like just doing my work and going home and not having to be on call 24/7, that sort of thing. So, and great, now you didn't waste another 2 years getting your bachelor's degree when all you want to do is just be a general x-ray tech now or move into another modality. So that's one major reason. Goals can change just like mine. My goals changed multiple times while I was in school. I went from wanting to be in radiation therapy to start traveling as an x-ray tech to all over the place. So don't just go straight into a 4-year bachelor's degree because you want to get into administration or immediately become a teacher, because you might be working as an x-ray tech and you're like, well, I guess I don't think I want to be a teacher right now. I'd rather just keep my job. I like my job. I'm in a good hospital. Well, great. Again, you didn't waste that time and money on a 4-year degree. No, you did your 2-year degree. You got out, you got working, and you pay back those loans. And now I'm just rambling. So blah, blah, blah. That is a major reason your goals can change. Reason number 2, if you do start working and decide like, yeah, I really do want to get into leadership or management. I know our manager is retiring and I could possibly be up next because no one else wants it, or whatever the case. Or I do want to get an education and get that bachelor's. Well, when you're already working full time, a lot of hospitals offer some type of tuition reimbursement where you can go back to school kind of on their dime, or at least a discounted price. So that is the way to do it. That is the way to get your bachelor's, is to go while you're already working full time, and then you can go to school part time, get that bachelor's, and have the hospital pay a good chunk of that, which is the way to do it, because we all want to save money. We don't want to pay out of pocket if we don't have to. So get that experience, decide, okay, I really do like it. I think I do want to go into management. Great. Now I'll apply back for a bachelor's and see what type of discounts or tuition reimbursement I can get from my hospital. So earn that bachelor's while you're on the job, so you're getting some type of tuition reimbursement from your hospital, as well as the biggest thing is you're just gaining that experience as well. You are gaining years of experience, which again is pay bumps. It kind of gives you the knowledge to understand how departments work, and then you will be ready for that role when a management role does come up. Again, they're not just going to take a student that just graduated and put them in management because they have a bachelor's. No, they want you to have experience. They want you to know how these hospital works, the hospital policies. You want to understand how to take care of your coworkers, take care of your team, that sort of thing. So experience is everything, and that will help you on top of right then being in school, getting that bachelor's, to actually have a management position. And a lot of hospitals, even if you're working towards your bachelor's, you can apply for these positions. You don't have to have it like today. So that's another huge thing. So don't just feel like you need to get this bachelor's right now because you want to get into leadership. No, get paid to do it, or at least get some type of money for it. Get that experience while you're doing it. And a lot of times you'll be able to apply to a management position because you are in the process of getting your bachelor's. Like, I can't talk. I'm scrambling my words. I'm about to hack up a lung. So give me a second. So earn that bachelor's on the job so you can get that tuition reimbursement, as well as be actively getting experience, because experience, again, is everything. Every year of experience gives you pay bumps, and every year of experience you become a better overall technologist, and that will lead you into a leadership position on top of taking those bachelor courses. And in regards to tuition reimbursement, a lot of colleges offer alumni discounts. I mean, every month I get emails from the college that I went to saying, hey, come back for your bachelor's in medical imaging sciences. We offer these alumni discounts. Take advantage of it. So again, start working. Take advantage of the tuition reimbursement from your hospital. Try to take advantage of the alumni discounts. And the main thing that I can't say enough is just to get that experience. Experience is everything. It is everything. So don't just be sitting in class and you're waiting to get your bachelor's degree. No, be on the job working. Yeah, it can be a little bit tougher balancing school and work, but just take your bachelor's slower and do it part-time. In part-time, you can get it done in 2 years. If you go full-time work, full-time school, it can be done in 1 year, but it's going to be rough year. But either way, you can knock it out. And a lot of these programs offer online courses too. So you can just work and then do your online courses at the end of the day. So there's definitely ways to do it and ways to save a lot of money. And that's what I want to kind of share. We don't want to go into debt if we don't have to. You know what I mean? So being financially safe. So me personally, I would focus on a 2-year program. I would start working, getting that experience, and then from there, I would decide if I wanted to get my bachelor's. Now, full transparency, I am currently in school for my bachelor's and I am paying out of pocket. So if I could go back, I would have done things differently. But my case was a little bit different. And as a traveler, many agencies will not pay you tuition reimbursement to go to school. And I originally never wanted to go back from a bachelor's degree. It made no sense to me. Why would I spend more money to go for a bachelor's degree when to be a general x-ray tech, you don't need that further education, which, yeah, that totally makes sense. But last year I was working for a nonprofit, kind of volunteering for a nonprofit, and it was a super incredible experience. And I got to meet a lot of the team, the board, the CEO, CFO, COO, and they all were radiologic technologists, but they ended up having master degrees, and they are working for this amazing nonprofit that does incredible work for low-income countries all around the world. And it was just like a super inspiring type of time that I had with them. It was absolutely incredible. I will go into more detail in other videos, but it kind of inspired me to like further my education and keep going. And I'm someone that always does enjoy learning. I think knowledge is power, and I just kind of thought to myself, like, I had time, definitely could go back to school, and it wouldn't be too much of an issue. And I ended up starting school last year for my bachelor's, and I did it part-time, so it would take me 2 years. So I have about 4 classes left, and I will be finishing on my bachelor's. But again, going back to that, it just kind of like inspired me to kind of get this bachelor's and have it in my back pocket and see what other jobs will come available after traveling, because you can't travel forever. It's just not how it works. Like, you want to settle down at some point, and it's hard to go back staff once you're a traveler because you have a lot more benefits and you make a lot more money as a traveler than you do staff. So it's just tough and that. And so I want to have, I was like, maybe I can have this bachelor's in my back pocket, and from there I can decide if I want to go into a master's or see if there's another career path that will kind of align with that requires a bachelor's. So again, now I'm rambling a little bit, my ADD, but also my ADD is like a massive thing. Like, I am all over the place. I want to do another career every 5 minutes. I think before I said I've looked into aviation, becoming a pilot. Like, that makes literally no sense. Why? What? I don't know. It just is so cool. It just fascinates me. It's so super interesting. I would have 10 different jobs if I could, or 10 different careers, because I get bored really quick. And radiology is great because you can bounce into CT and bounce into MRI and bounce into all these other modalities and that sort of thing. But I want to do everything. I want to do it all. I don't like being content, obviously, because I'm a traveler. I am constantly getting into new situations, adapting to new places, meeting new people. I love that. I thrive from that. I don't like just being in a cushy place, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and letting my life kind of go right beside me, which isn't a bad thing. But at the same time, I thrive off of being in new places, new experiences, that sort of thing. So I was like, you know what? I have the funds for it. I know I'm paying out of pocket, and I have the time to do it. So I'm just going to go back for my bachelor's, and that is why I went back and got my bachelor's, or am currently getting my bachelor's. But long story short, if I could go back, I would have probably waited until I signed on at a full-time job, and then again, like I'm telling you guys, took that tuition reimbursement to at least make it cheaper rather than having to pay out of pocket. But again, this was never my original plan. And remember how I told you earlier how goals change? Yeah, goals can change quickly. Mine changed multiple different times. Wanting to go from radiation therapy, like, oh, I found I can travel as an x-ray tech. Oh, I can do this and that. Or maybe if I get my bachelor's, I can work for this nonprofit, or I can become a clinical application specialist. Just like, things change when you learn more, when you're out in the field. You're like, oh, you see people coming in and you're like, you're an x-ray tech before. How did you get this job? Well, I in my bachelor's, and then I found a job with Siemens or Fuji or something, and now I'm an application specialist, and I go around and I teach portable machines or C-arms and that sort of thing. You're like, oh, super interesting. Like, you just learn all about these other jobs, and then you're like, okay, I can decide from here if I want this, then I'll just go back for my bachelor's, or if I want to work for a nonprofit, maybe I get my master's eventually, or get a master's in business and move on to some type of like business route or something. There's so many options, and it's hard for my ADHD brain to comprehend, because 1 minute I want to go back to radiation therapy school and then get into dosimetry and then become that pilot that I want to do. I just thrive on being busy again. And even though I can't handle half the things in my life, I just thrive on being busy and having like multiple things to do that I'm barely accomplishing, like these videos. Sorry, I only get them out a couple weeks at a time. There's a lot going on. And now, I'm in school too, so working full time as well. But yeah, so your goals can change. So again, just start with that associate's degree and decide from there what exactly you want to do, and then use those points to get every piece of the pie you can and make it cheaper for you to earn or further education if you want to. And again, most people don't ever do this. Most people just stick with their 2-year degree, and they're totally fine, and that is totally cool. So you have all those options at your disposal, which is amazing. All right, so wrapping this whole video up now, bottom line, if you want to start working as a radiologic technologist, get your associate's degree. Do not go into any more debt. Don't get a bachelor's. Don't mess with anything else. Get an associate's degree. Even if you want to get into CT and there's like, oh, there's CT courses over here that you can take. No, don't do that. Cross train, get paid to learn on the job. Same with MRI, get paid to learn on the job. You don't need to take those MRI courses or things like that. Find a hospital that will cross train you and they will give you the tools that you need. Secondly, if you want to get into leadership, become a teacher, get into administration, something that requires a bachelor's degree. Again, get your associate's degree first, start working, and then have that hospital pay for you to go back for your bachelor's degree. You're gaining experience while you're doing that, which is the biggest thing you can get, is just those years of experience. That is everything. So I hope this video helped you guys, and now you understand differences between an associate's and a bachelor's degree. Yeah, I want to save you guys money if I can. I would have saved myself a little bit of money too in the past if I would have had things together, but hope you guys got something from this video. Please ask any questions, leave any comments, criticisms, whatever the case that you have. I will be happy to see you guys next time, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. So with that said, you guys take care. Have a good one. Safe travels.